Fit for Life Radio, episode number 121. Your hosts, I'm Gary.
Will.
Today we are going to be talking about convenient, lean protein options.
The easy stuff.
That's a common question that we get. And for the most part, not saying this is for everyone, but most people do well focusing on nutrition, focus on lean protein and like fiber type foods, higher fiber plant foods, and
a little lower fat protein options.
The problem with that is if you're eating out, going somewhere, they're very few and far between.
Yeah, and with that, they're cooked in a ton of oil as well, so it's just not your best option.
To find. Yeah. So when you're focused on lean proteins, then obviously we swing back to they normally have to be prepared. But sometimes, preparing can be overwhelming, still not there, or you just want some convenient, quicker, easier options, right? So we're going to lay out some ideas for those quick, convenient, lean protein options that you can maybe find you enjoy and become a staple that work for you.
And you should be able to find these basically anywhere. There's one that is a little more of a specialty, but there should be something on here for everybody that'll work. Yeah,
and then when you start to consider, in general, you want to try to have some lean protein with each meal. And even maybe if you're going to have a snack, lean protein's a good option because it is the most satiating nutrient, so it helps you feel full, so it makes you more likely that you'll eat less other stuff. It also is required.
Yeah,
our body needs complete amino acids.
And most people, especially when you start doing things like strength training and a lot of exercise, just don't get enough.
Yeah.
And so it can just be beneficial to, get a little more in when you can.
Yeah. So hopefully this will help with that. We'll dive right in. We'll try to use options that you can get at most places. So there will be some specific ones to Costco. If you're a Costco near you, and then most of these like a Food Lion, Lidl, Aldi's,
Kroger, the whole deal.
We'll have them. And let's start with the liquid options. Sometimes you just
want to drink.
You got to revert to a liquid meal. And that would be, so you obviously have like your RTDs, your ready to drink shakes. So realize you have those, and then you have protein powders. Really, they're the same thing, except the RTD is going to be a little more convenient, thus you're paying more.
For someone to mix that baby up for you.
Exactly. And honestly, to me, they always taste a little...
They're a little different.
Yeah, you're definitely just whacking that back for the protein.
For most people, some people add those to their coffee and like it. That can be an easy way to do it if you're like a regular coffee drinker, and it can maybe replace some of the creamer. I've never really played with it, but that's generally what a lot of people have done. So you can do that, and that's a really easy way, and you still get your coffee.
Yeah.
And if your protein tastes a little funky, no sweat. The coffee usually drowns that out.
And they have them at, nowadays, gas stations too.
I mean, they got them everywhere. And they're generally pretty good macro-wise. I mean, they usually, probably 25, 30 grams of protein in a lot of them.
Yep, and that's what I'll do if, say, I'm on a road trip. Grab a RTD and, like, a piece of fruit.
Get a chocolate milk.
Or just, well, now they have some of the chocolate milks are filtered
protein,
to be higher in protein. And then your powders, super various forms. You have whey, dairy-based powders, vegan, protein, plant-based powders. You can mix those with water. You can mix them with milks.
Almond milk.
You can
whatever.
Obviously throw them with frozen fruit and other things for smoothies. But obviously that actually starts to be less convenient when you're talking about smoothies. So
if you just have like a shaker or a bottle and some protein and water, then, bare minimum you can get by on that. It doesn't have to taste like a milkshake, but it usually gets the job done.
So you can kind of know, you can always default to, hey, I can swing by Wawa and get a ready-to-drink shake, or you can keep some protein powder in your car, or at your work, or at home.
I mean, a lot of people have fridges at work. You could always, or even a drawer, keep a bunch of ready-to-drink shakes in there, and then you have them on hand, and they're extremely convenient when maybe you are busy and you don't have time to fix something.
Yep. And then we have you have like liquid egg whites, which, so those liquid egg whites in the carton, they are actually pasteurized. You could just drink those straight up.
If you're into it, that's just straight protein, baby.
But more likely what some people like to use it as, because they actually can provide a nice texture and you won't taste it, they're pretty flavorless, is you can use them in smoothies. So instead of protein powder, you could do like a cup of those carton egg whites with, frozen fruit and cocoa powder and things like that. So that can be convenient. Obviously, too, now if you just want to cook up egg whites, it can be convenient to have the liquid form versus separating
and you're not separating your eggs, which takes time, it's messy, and it's easier to just measure, pour, and cook.
And again, egg whites, we're not saying egg yolks are bad, but depending on your goals, it just starts to be more and more calories. The yolk is the fat, so it's going to be double the calories per gram, meaning a gram of protein is 4 calories, a gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories, a gram of fat is 9 calories. So for most people, having 6 whole eggs
it starts to add up.
Yeah, and you might, in reality, you may want to have those fats in other places or those calories used elsewhere. So you could have like 1 whole egg and a cup of egg whites, and you actually end up with more food volume-wise, but less calories. So that's the benefit of egg whites. Another, you want to go into some of the lean meat kind of chicken options, and obviously these are going to be convenient. So these are going to be options outside of just buying chicken breast and having to prepare them and cook them yourself.
Yeah. So a really easy one is just canned chicken breast, which you can usually buy a big pack of it. Similar to canned tuna. It's going to be really lean. You can add whatever flavor you want to it. If you want to add a little hot sauce or just some salt and pepper, whatever you want. But you can just crack it open, eat it out of the can, and you're good. And those are generally a decent amount of food, so you're going to get a pretty good hit of protein with one of those.
Normally about 50 grams, or about 8 ounces.
Yeah, those are solid.
And I actually find them quite pleasant. They're normally like moist.
And they hold their moisture really
well. Yeah, they have salt in there a little, so I'll take those when I'm traveling or like a beach type food or meal, and you can mix it with some mustard. And again, it's not a hamburger.
Nah, but it gets the job done, and you can dress it up however you want to with things like mustard, hot sauce. I mean, it works.
Yep, experiment. And those, I know Costco has
giant packs
that are well priced, and Lidl has them as well. The old canned chicken, and a lot of people might find it more pleasant than canned tuna.
Yes.
So canned tuna is obviously an option too, but it's fish.
You don't want to be the person that opens that can of tuna at work either.
Yeah.
Some people don't care, but
the chicken has a little bit of a canned food smell.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
But it's not awful.
Not like canned fish can just be a whole different level.
Then you have your dairies, your old dairies, your Gary dairies.
Gary dairies.
Low fat or no fat Greek yogurt and or cottage cheese.
Yeah, those are they're good ways to get quite a bit of protein in. And then you can add stuff, right? You can add, like, one of my staples is Greek yogurt with protein powder. And, I can get anywhere from 60 to 90 grams of protein, depending on how much I really want to eat of it. And it's not really that much food. So it's a really good way to get that in. And it's 2 things. You could even buy just, like, single serving cups if you really want to make it as convenient as possible. Put a little protein or some fruit in there, and then you're good.
Yeah.
With minimal packing and planning. So that could be a really, really easy one. Same thing with the cottage cheese. I don't know how that is with protein powder.
Alexis, my wife,
does she do it?
Yeah, she makes protein. She goes on a kick of sometimes she's all about the Greek yogurt and sometimes the cottage cheese.
I can't handle like the cottage cheese lumps.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing is the texture, right? I don't mind it, but
not for me.
And the benefit of dairy like cottage cheese, Greek yogurt is there's no cooking, right? You can just dish out your serving and go. Obviously now it has to be refrigerated, so that's a negative. But if you have a cooler or
if you're going to eat it right away.
Yeah, refrigerator or eat it right away, it's a good option. And you can find them most everywhere now.
Yeah, those are going to be everywhere. I think you can find those at gas stations sometimes too. Just like they might be flavored or something, but
And a quick and easy breakfast we recommend when we have clients who struggle getting enough protein. And we're not talking about bodybuilder amounts.
No.
Most people say, hey, try to get 100 grams a day. You could have 1 cup of Greek yogurt with 1 scoop of protein powder. That's 50 grams.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had that for breakfast,
You're halfway there.
You're halfway there. And most people find it tasty. It satisfies their sweet tooth. You can mix in like a little chocolate chips or something.
Yeah.
Again, that's it. So someone would ask, well, non-fat versus, full fat. Again, it just depends on how many calories are you working with, your, portions, your goals. And yeah, having the non-fat frees you up, right? So if you want to have chocolate chips, you actually would end up being way less calories having the non-fat Greek yogurt with chocolate chips sprinkled in, obviously a certain amount, a reasonable amount, versus the full-fat Greek yogurt. So, but some people may love the flavor and texture of the full-fat. Cool. So you may have to skip the chocolate chips. You can have that. So it's finding those trade-offs.
Yeah, and you might find that just having the extremely lean stuff in the morning, you can have a little bit of a tastier dinner if you really like for me, I could get through breakfast doesn't even matter. I'll just eat my Greek yogurt and protein, and then I have more calories to play with, and I can maybe have a little bit of a fattier cut of meat at dinner or something like that. So it also gives you a little more flexibility in that regard too.
Mm-hmm. And then some other neat, quick, convenient options are places like Costco. You have this one.
This one blew my mind.
They have hand-pulled rotisserie chicken.
Already packaged.
It's like vacuum sealed. Boom.
I didn't know this was even an option that places sold, but now we're going to try it. It might be a really good thing. I don't know how it is price-wise, but it might be worth it to just keep that. And then, bam, put a little sauce in there. Like I said, some hot sauce or whatever you want to mix in.
In reality, that's kind of like a meal prep. Obviously, it's going to cost a little more than doing it yourself, but it's not that much more.
It's that convenience
so
fee, which
that could be a staple. Now you have all this pulled rotisserie chicken, and you just have to portion it out, spice it up.
And you could probably keep a good bit of it in the freezer, and when you're ready to eat it, I think they're packaged to where they're probably 1 pound a piece or something. So you pull out your 1 pound that you're going to have the next day, and boom, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
That's freaking game changer, I think.
Yep. I mean, normally you're going to have to, buy the meat and
put it in your slow cooker or wherever.
Yeah.
And then you have to shred it yourself, and it just takes a bit of time.
Another one they have is, obviously, you have frozen stuff. At Costco, and they probably have this at other places, they have already frozen rotisserie chicken breast strips. So like little, like
already sliced,
already cooked, rotisserie
like
type.
Probably something you would find on a salad somewhere. Like that kind of a chicken strip. So
you just, and since they're so smaller, they're going to cook way easier. And I know for me, I've like to take frozen stuff and throw it in the air fryer, and it crisps up really well. So you could take the little rotisserie strips, toss them in. It's not going to take any extra time.
It's going to be a couple minutes probably to cook those and get them heated up.
Slam bam.
Boom, you're done.
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late. So having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's 1 scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provingrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
So that could be another really easy one. And really, I think they're already cooked. So you could just pull them out cold and put them on a salad or eat them with something else if you don't feel like cooking them.
Yeah.
But if you want to, it shouldn't take long to get them up to speed.
Yeah. So right there you have your dairy options, no cooking needed. You have frozen options, takes out a lot of the preparation. You have your powdered, drinkable options, all lean proteins. Now we're also going to talk about, and one thing you'll notice is that was a lot of chicken.
Yep.
Right? And a lot of people, rolling their eyes or blah. So we're going to go over, now these obviously might not be as convenient because you're going to have to buy them and cook them, but so you don't get in a rut, there are other lean protein foods that aren't just like chicken breast, right? So one is boneless, skinless chicken thighs,
which have a little bit more fat, but honestly,
not much more.
It's not very much more.
For 4 ounces, chicken breast typically can be like 3 grams of fat,
it's
and
like 4.5.
Yeah, chicken thigh can be 4.5. I've seen some a little more like 6, but they're still relatively lean.
Low. Yeah.
Another is ground beef from 93.7 down. So you really have 2 options. Like 93.7 is going to be really lean,
96.4
and 96.4.
Yeah.
And
which I don't mind the taste of those at all.
Then you got a couple turkey options, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean you can go ground turkey. They have the 99.1, which is a very lean turkey. And then you have like your 93.7. So probably those 2 would be your best options turkey-wise. Those are going to be lean, give you a little bit of a different flavor than chicken.
Yep.
And they're quick to cook up. So those are super easy.
Yep. Then you have pork tenderloin.
God, I was just eyeballing some tenderloin.
And
those are usually really easy to cook.
Super lean, cooks up. You can throw it in the crock pot, shred it up, or put slices. Obviously, you have all your lean cuts of beef. So probably top sirloin on. So your top sirloins. Probably the stuff most of you are like, oh, that's dry. But
yeah, I mean like a London broil.
Yeah, London broil.
Which, have to cook a little slower and longer.
Yep.
But
beef tenderloin. And really, you eventually appreciate the leaner cuts for their different flavors.
Yeah, they tend to taste pretty good.
Textures.
It's just different than like a fattier cut. You're tasting the fat.
Yeah, and the texture that comes with it.
Yeah, and then the leaner cuts, you're really getting that beefy type flavor. And both offer, I think, different flavors that are both good. So you do learn to appreciate it though when you eat it a little more often.
Yep. Then obviously you have your vegan type options. The issue with these when we're talking about lean protein is they're normally not lean because they come, whereas like meats and stuff are protein and fat. So some of the fattier options come with lots of fats, making them not lean. Well, on the flip side, your vegan plant-based options come with lots of carbs, right? So they're not necessarily very lean options either. You have to account for, to get, say, 50 grams of carbs from, so like beans and rice, right, would be a combination of complete protein on a plant-based diet, but they also come with a lot of carbs. So to get 50 grams of protein from beans and rice, you're also getting
quite a bit of carbs,
which you can make work, but then that's why most vegan plant-based approaches are going to have to be low fat, right? Because if by nature your carbs are going to be high.
Yep, they have to be to get those sources.
So you got to kind of manage your total intake somewhere, and it's going to be at the expense of dietary fat.
Yeah, and they do have protein powders that are, not terrible on carbs at all. And those are going to be a really good option, I think, for anybody that doesn't eat animal products at all. Even some of like the protein bars, though, like the amount of carbs that are in those, I guess ratioed with the protein is just not very optimal. So you have to kind of watch out for those. Some of them might have like 12 grams of protein, and then you have 25 grams of carbs. And that's just not a very good ratio compared to some other options.
Then you also have your various types of fish.
Yep.
So salmon typically is going to be a fattier cut, a bunch of omega-3s.
It's a great option, but definitely a little bit fattier. So you just have to be careful and see how it fits into your day.
Yeah.
I really like Trader Joe's has good canned salmon. They have
it's real lean too, right?
Yeah, the sockeye is actually pretty lean overall. And the flavor's good. I think it ended up being seven. It's 7.5 ounces for a can, so it's 7-8 ounces.
Yeah, for 50 grams of protein. Which, if you're wondering, a good metric is lean protein. We're typically looking for about 25 grams of protein, you want 7 or less grams of fat.
Mm-hmm.
So for like meat, 4 ounces of meat is typically going to be 25 grams of protein. So you want to look for cuts that are then 7 grams or less fat per serving of meat. So, so same thing for dairy, right? Like what is a portion that comes out to about 25 grams of protein? How much fat is along with that? Same thing with fish. So a lot of your white fishes are going to, be low fat, lean. And same thing with eggs, right? So to get 25 grams of protein from eggs, that would be 4 whole eggs, but that's also going to be
the fat that comes along with it.
20 grams of fat,
yep.
Right? So in reality, you'd probably want to have, depending on your goals, you can make that work, but, say you had 1 whole egg, 5 grams of fat, and then, what would that be, like 10 whites?
Mm-hmm.
To then get to about, if each white's about 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and then you got that whole egg. So yeah, it'd be about 6 egg whites plus 1 whole egg.
Yeah.
Will give you about 25 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. So say you wanted 50 grams of protein, you could double that, right? So 2 whole eggs.
It's a lot of eggs.
and basically a dozen, right?
Yeah, that's a Diego-sized portion of egg whites.
But you see kind of that's a number to go off of for when you're really, especially looking at different meats and cuts of meat. What you want to look for is you look at that chart, you're looking for 7 grams or less of fat per serving, which is typically 4 ounces.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? Well, we have, some not as cost-friendly options, but they're good on the go. Something like beef jerky is a good option. You can get whatever flavor you want. It's just generally pretty lean because it's just dried out beef. They have turkey jerky and I think chicken jerky, but I've never tried it, so I can't tell you how it is. And if anybody wants to give it a go and maybe report back, you can. But I would liken it to turkey bacon versus regular bacon, to where it's just not gonna be the same. But it might be an option. If you like it, great. It is going to be a leaner one you can grab on the go. You're just going to pay a whole lot more for how much you're getting. So that's really what you have to balance out with something like jerky. Because you are paying for someone to, dry it out. Weight-wise, it's not a whole lot because it is dry. There's no moisture in it, no nothing. So, yeah, cost to weight's pretty high.
Mm-hmm. And swinging back a little bit to the plant-based options, like lentils are going to be a good option. They're normally high in protein and a lot of fiber. So a lot of the carbs in them are fiber. So they're going to skew towards leaner compared to other types of beans and stuff. And then you also have tofu. Yeah. But I'm actually not sure. Like, is there like light tofu? I'm not really sure what that's made up of.
Let's find out.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to probably specifically want to find like a light tofu, because tofu itself, for a serving, you're looking at 21 grams of protein. So like we said, there's that 20 to 25, but it comes with about 11 grams of fat.
Yeah. So a little bit higher than we will want for what we would call a lean source of protein.
Let's see. Is there like diet tofu?
I don't know. Let's find out. Light tofu. Let's see. Silken tofu light.
There we go. Nope. How much? 8. So it looks like with light tofu, you'd have about 24 grams of protein. Would come with about 4.5, 5 grams of fat.
Yeah. So that's like a way better option, comparable to like a chicken breast. In that case,
especially if I'm assuming you're eating tofu because you're plant-based vegan, which means your diet is going to be higher in carbs. You do want to watch those fat calories and try to get lean sources that are lower in fat.
So yeah, that could be a really good one. I don't know of any like already made tofu stuff you can buy, because it's not something I would buy. But there might be some. Convenient. Let's see.
And also, if you're curious, lentils are essentially a 2-to-1 carbohydrate to protein, meaning so for 25 grams of protein, you're having about 50 grams of carbs, but half of those are fiber. So
it's not quite as high.
So you could almost say it's a 1-to-1. Whereas something like black beans are going to be a almost 3-to-1 carbs to protein, and less than half. So so definitely lentils would be like a leaner option than something like a black bean.
Yeah.
Did you find that tofu, man?
I'm looking.
What's Costco have?
I don't know. Some places have
Yeah, Costco has.
what looks like
It's regular tofu.
ready to eat. Yeah, I think you're gonna have a hard time finding, pre-prepared tofu. Can you buy pre-cooked tofu? So you can. So yeah, there's a brand called Nasoya that actually I see at Kroger, and they have pre-cooked tofu. So you just buy like the block, and it's like pre-marinated, and you just heat it up in the microwave, or you can eat it cold. I don't know how that experience is, but if you don't mind that, then you could absolutely do that. So you can probably, I think this one, you can find it at Publix, Whole Foods, Kroger, maybe some other places.
Yeah.
But those are the 3 that I've seen that you can buy it. So yeah, not a bad option, but I would just be careful with something like that with what it's marinated in. Just if there's a lot of added oil or something, you just have to be aware. So, but that may be a good option, similar to like a canned chicken or something like that for people.
Yep. So hopefully that helps. I know I'll share with how I use convenient protein options. So typically I'll have my meals. I like food meals cooked, right? But that's not always realistic, or stuff happens. So I like to have backup stuff. So I always we'll have like some frozen meat, so that boom, just in case that's in the freezer, we know we can pop in the air fryer. You don't even have to defrost it.
Yep.
Then we'll keep canned chicken in the cabinet, the canned veggies. So again, if I just for whatever reason don't feel like cooking a meal or run out,
and it lasts quite a while.
Yeah, I mean,
so you can
years.
just keep it stocked, and then when you need it, you use it, and it's not like you have to replace it every month or something.
And then we always have protein powder. It's not something sometimes I go in kicks where it's in my diet every day, but I like to have it more as backup most of the time. So, or if I get a sweet tooth, right? Or if I'm still hungry after like dinner, then I guess this is another convenient form. My wife always eats cottage cheese or Greek yogurt, so it's always in the fridge. But then for me, say she's eating cottage cheese, I will then make sure to buy some Greek yogurt to have, so that if I get hungry after dinner or just want something different,
put a little protein powder
boom, grab some Greek yogurt, throw some protein powder in it, satisfies my sweet tooth. Easy way to get some extra protein. So yeah, for me, I almost use all of them, right? Have some of that dairy on for quick non-cooked meals, have some canned chicken for a backup, and then some frozen stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, I for the most part usually do the Greek yogurt with protein in the morning. I've gone on kicks though where I'll just do eggs. It just depends on where I'm at. But for quite a while lately, I just enjoy doing that. Again, it's an easy way. I'll do a lot, so I might get, like I said, 60 to 90 grams of protein because I don't mind eating a giant bowl of it. And then minimal, of anything else with that. And then, I usually keep some canned fish if I ever need it. I generally don't have to dig into that stuff. And then we usually have stuff prepared in the fridge already. Like we keep leftovers. So that's generally like if we need something, there's already like pre-shredded chicken in the fridge, or I've cooked burgers for the week and I just already have them ready to go. So that's generally what we do. We don't really have any frozen stuff that we keep, which might actually be a good idea for us to try, like maybe some of the frozen rotisserie strips or something like that, just when we're in a pinch, because we air fry so much anyways.
Yeah.
So
and realize we're just trying to you're trying to set up your environment for success, right? And yes, it is very easy to overconsume foods because those foods are convenient, but we can also use food technology and some processing in a way.
Yeah, and the convenience.
There's enough options now to actually make it work for you, right? So we're using that food processing and modern technology, and then trying to surround ourselves, making the convenient option the lean protein, right? Because if I'm a little hungry after dinner, if I also had M&Ms in my house, I may just go grab those. But if I don't, but I have Greek yogurt and some protein powder, well, that's my option.
Yeah.
And it
makes it easier to make that decision too.
Exactly.
Whereas you're like, I really don't feel like cooking. Well, the easy option is just to grab something that's already there and eat it. And so, you're cutting out that, I don't want to do this, I'll just go pick up food, which we know takes a lot of effort anyways. But you're less likely to do that when you have so many easy options surrounding you. You almost can't not make that decision.
Yeah.
And that's how we want to set up our environment, make something like that as easy as we possibly can.
And for snacks, right? So if we kind of poo-poo snacks, and here's the thing, you'll find yourself not snacking if you say, okay, if I want to have a snack, it has to be lean protein, you'll quickly realize, I'm not that hungry, I don't need that.
I like to call that the Ben test.
Yeah.
Because Ben, I think everyone listening might know who he is, but he coaches at the gym as well, and he's been on here. Anyways, he always says, take the test. If you would eat lean, plain chicken right now, just chicken breast, you're actually hungry. But if you if you're like, nah, I'm good, then you're not really truly hungry.
If you get the snackies, and you go, oh, well, you're hungry, Gary? There's some canned chicken breasts in there.
Nah.
Then you'll quickly realize, no, I'm just bored.
Yeah. You want to go
because I want Doritos.
You want the entertainment and flavor of Doritos or something like that. Yeah.
But if you're hungry enough, you'd eat the chicken.
Yeah, it would sound good to your brain. It would actually probably be decently appetizing if you truly had real hunger. So, surround yourself with all of these great, convenient options, especially if you do find yourself a little pressed for time and likely to grab fast food, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, whatever.
And realize,
these days.
Look around, notice this stuff. Notice when you're out. Notice how convenient carbs and fats, and obviously this takes learning some of these foods and about food and what's in it and all this, but you'll notice, combinations of carbs and fats are everywhere and convenient, and fatty proteins and this smaller area of food, lean proteins, you'll see where it is not convenient. It's not out there. So you have to, again, create that environment for yourself.
Yeah, so give some of those a try.
All right. Well, hopefully that's helpful. Gets the old hamster wheel churning.
Gets it rolling. And it might just help you, maybe you're just a little stuck or find yourself not making the best choices. It might help you kind of just move forward a little bit and make a small change, and that usually creates some bigger change.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We'll
see you next week.
Hear ya next week.
As always, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to learn more, check us out at coastalfitnessva.com or garydeagle.com. We'll see you next time.